make a slip knot and place it on a knitting needle. Hold this needle in your left hand and also hold the yarn tail just to make sure it doesn't get in the way. Then take a crochet hook in a size that is a couple sizes smaller than the knitting needle. For a 10mm knitting needle over here, I'm using an 8mm hook. Place this hook at the back of the knitting needle so that they form an X, like this. And make sure the working yarn is not trapped between the knitting needle and the crochet hook. That's not good. So make sure the yarn is hanging down freely. Then pinch the crochet hook with your left thumb and index finger, like that. Take the working yarn in your right hand, that is now free, and move the working yarn from the back of the crochet hook around the tip of the needle and land it in a spot that is between the tip of the needle and the head of the crochet hook, like this. Then while holding the yarn wrap, take the crochet hook in your right hand and move the top strand, this one, through the other strand, like this. Simply move the crochet hook down, make sure the nose catches the strand and pulls it through the other strand. Now we have a new stitch on the knitting needle and we have one stitch on the crochet hook. Place the crochet hook at the back of the needle again in this crossed position and repeat the same steps. So we hold the hook with the left thumb and index finger, take the yarn and bring it from the back of the crochet hook around the tip of the needle and into the spot that is between the tip of the needle and the head of the crochet hook. Then we take the crochet hook in the right hand and push the top strand, this one, through the other strand and through the stitch that's now sitting on the crochet hook. Here we go, we've just cast on another stitch. The slip knot is temporary and it does not count as a stitch. We needed it only to anchor the yarn before we started to cast on stitches. And then we keep doing that. Crossed position with the hook at the back, hold the hook, take the working yarn, bring it around the tip of the needle and push the wrap through the stitch. And do it again and again and again. I like this variation because as we pull the wrap through the other strand and the stitch, we clearly see all strands. See, when we do this, everything is visible. We see this strand and this one, and we see the stitch that's sitting on the crochet hook. But if you find this approach uncomfortable for some reason, there is another way to get the same results. So again, we pinch the crochet hook with the left thumb and index finger, take the yarn, but we wrap the needle and the hook from the back around the needle and the hook, around this X, and land in a spot that is between the head of the crochet hook and the body of the needle. Then we turn the crochet hook to the left and use it, move it down, pushing the strand that is over here through the other strand and through the stitch sitting on the crochet hook. That's just a different way to get exactly the same result. Let's do it again. So we move the yarn across the needle and the crochet hook, then turn the crochet hook to the left and push the stitch down. And you keep repeating these steps, whether you wrap the hook and the needle like this or like this, doesn't really matter. Try both ways and see which one is more comfortable for you. But keep going until you have the number of stitches that you need for your project, less one stitch sitting on the knitting needle, and that does not include the slip knot. So we simply ignore the slip knot for now. So let's say right now I have 7 stitches on the knitting needle, and that means that if I was gonna cast on 8 stitches, I would stop right now because I have 7 stitches over here and I have 1 stitch on the crochet hook. This will be the last stitch that we cast on. And to finish off the cast on, pinch the crochet hook, then take the working yarn in your right hand and bring it between the needle and the crochet hook, like this. So we are not wrapping anything again, we simply bring the yarn to the front of the crochet hook. And then we push the crochet hook down, pulling this wrap through the stitch, like this. Basically, we chain 1 stitch. And then we insert the tip of the needle from right to left into the last stitch, ease the crochet hook out, leaving the stitch on the needle. If the stitch got big while you were doing that, simply pull the yarn to adjust the size of the stitch. So now we have 8 stitches on the needle, 2, 4, 6, 8, plus the slip knot. And we're gonna deal with the slip knot at the end of the first row. So we take another needle and we work the first row according to the pattern that we follow. I will be simply knitting all stitches, but you can use any stitch pattern you like. Stop when you get to the slip knot. See, I worked all my stitches and I have just a slip knot sitting on my left needle. Stop here and take the left needle out of the slip knot and simply unravel it. That's it. Now we have the number of stitches that we need, 8 stitches in my case, and we have a beautiful edge formed at the bottom of the fabric. And as you work a few rows or rounds, you will see that the edge is really nice and neat. It looks like 2 chains of stitches that are leaning in the opposite directions. And that makes this edge fully reversible. It looks exactly the same on both sides of the fabric. And as you see from this swatch, it looks pretty nice with many stitch patterns. Garter stitch, stockinette, seed stitch. It decorates really nicely the edge of all these stitch patterns. The edge is quite elastic. That's why we used a crochet hook in a smaller size than the needle. But if you are after an even stretchier edge, simply use a hook in a bigger size. If you find this tutorial helpful, please subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon to be notified every time I publish a new video. Happy knitting, my friend. I'll talk to you in the next tutorial.